Okay, Assalamualaikum and hi. We are going to discuss our chapter 1 for Introduction to Investment for our FIN 358. So this subject is actually a basic for you and a kind of intro to the investment field. Okay, so the first chapter is about Introduction to Investments. Okay, so after studying this chapter, you should be able to actually differentiate between the concepts of investment versus speculation and also gambling. Number 2, identify the investment goals, process and constraints. And also number 3, explain the concept of investment risk and return. So with me again, I'm Nordiana. So you will be with me throughout the whole chapter. So I will explain one by one about all of this basic concept of investment. Okay, here we go. The first one, which is the definition of investment. Okay, so what does it mean by investment? Okay, let's take a look on what does it mean by this investment. Okay, so investment is said to be a kind of sacrifice of present consumption. So we sacrifice the present consumption in expectation for a return in future. So in the end, what we want to have is a kind of positive return. It must be a positive return. Okay, a positive return. So we want to have a positive return in future. So it also can be defined as foregoing the present consumption in expecting greater profit opportunities in the future. Jadi, in bahasa, apa yang kita nak adalah we are foregoing, okay, for investment, we are foregoing the present consumption. So kita akan lepaskan apa saja yang kita ada hari ni. So we put it somewhere else. Kita letak dekat satu tempat yang lain yang mana in expecting dengan harapan kita akan dapat greater profit opportunities in the future lah. So let's say if you've been given RM 1,000 of money. Okay, let's say you've been given of RM 1,000. So you are planning to have some new clothes. Okay, mungkin awak nak beli baju baru. Okay, new clothes. Or you want to buy a new handphone, maybe a new handphone. Okay. But if you, let's say, you walk down to the mall. Okay, bila awak pergi dekat mall, and instead of you are picking some new clothes, and while maybe you are picking a new handphone for you, so you actually met with this let's say there's a kind of leaflet lah. Okay, you jumpa dengan satu risalah. So dia cerita pasal, let's say, investing in public gold. Investing in public gold is a goal. Kan, buying a gold. So dia mention lah dekat situ, let's say for example, kan, 1 gram. So saya conteng dekat sini 1 gram, okay, around RM250. Just let's say RM250, 1 gram. So it mentioned over there, kalau you invest in this gold, public gold, okay, you are going to have some profits in the future because this gold, okay, might appreciate in value. Okay, so the price of the gold normally quite stable, even though sometimes there's a kind of depreciation in those gold prices, but then normally the gold price will tend to rise and rise in the future. Normally the price of the gold will tend to rise and rise in the future. So you're really interested in having this investment. So you're gonna think twice. Okay, you think, okay, new clothes, this one can be forgo. New handphone, your handphone is still okay. So you're thinking that, oh, I'm not going to need a new handphone. It's still okay and still can be used, right? So instead of you a kind of fulfill the whole 1000, or you use all this money, the whole 1000, okay, today, but you use this 1000 to buy 2 gram of gold, for example. Okay, 2 gram, or maybe you fulfill all the 4 gram of the public gold and you wait. If you buy this new clothes and new handphone, of course the amount of 1000 will be forgone. Kita kira macam ini adalah consumption. Kalau kita guna duit 1000 ni hari ni, beli baju baru, beli new handphone, itu adalah consumption. Kan? So you dah guna dah. So this whole 1000 will be no longer available. But kan, kalaulah you actually pergi dekat leaflet ni, pergi dekat agent dia ni dan you rasa, oh, saya nak guna duit 1000 ni nak beli 4 gram of gold, for example lah, kan. So duit 1000 yang instead you're buying new clothes tu, normally kita katakan you akan invest dekat sini lah. So masih lagi ada lah 1000 tu, kan, just in terms of gold. Okay, so you saving your money over here. Sebenarnya ini adalah investment. Okay, after 1 year, try to take a look. What happened to this 4 grams of gold? What happens to the prices? Okay, normally it will tend to growing further and further. So this is whereby you are actually making profit. Okay. So instead of kita guna duit 1000 to buy new clothes and new handphone, you are doing it for investment. Okay, so your money is safe there and some more you will get some profit. Of course, okay, the price will for the gold normally will tend to increase in the future. Maybe throughout the time the price will be a kind of depreciate or drop a little bit, but it will not a kind of make you such as incurred losses or something, because the price normally, if it's dropped at a cheaper price, so people were buying at this low price, so you just have to wait whenever the price will tend to rise again in future. Okay, if you want to actually sell back your gold, yes, you can sell back your gold, okay, the 4 gram that you have bought earlier, and make sure during the selling procedure, you check the price which is supposed to be much more expensive, okay, compared to the earlier price when you bought the gold previously. Okay, so ini adalah salah satu simple example lah for investment itu sendiri. Okay, so next, let's take a look on the financial versus a real asset. Okay, this one is actually in your chapter, supposed to be in chapter 2, but I already put it here, so I'll combining with these two chapters. Okay, so it's easier for me to explain actually, and maybe later you can check on the syllabus contents. Okay, so what are we going to take a look on this financial versus real asset is we want to actually try to understand what does it mean by financial and real asset. Okay, so financial assets is actually a claims that company may sell in order to finance their needs. Okay, what happened adalah out there companies may actually issue this kind of instruments or securities, okay, to finance whatever their requirements. If they are funding for a new project, if they are also funding for their new development of businesses, they can actually issue this kind of financial assets. So what are these financial assets? Okay, it's normally refers to shares, okay, or stock, the bonds, certificates of deposits, okay, unit trust, commodities, and also derivative instruments. Okay. So senang cerita, kalaulah those companies wanna actually looking for some fund, okay, quickly, and also try to expand their businesses, okay, salah satu cara adalah they can issue the shares, okay. Just take a look on the example that I have been given to you in the during the class, kan, like Mr. DIY. So Mr. DIY want to actually increase dia punya fundraising. So dia nak cari dana yang agak banyak. Apa yang dia buat adalah during pada tahun 2020 kan. So dia issue the shares. So dia listed kan syarikat dia di Bursa Malaysia dan dia issue shares. Kan dia issue shares dekat all the investors out there lah. So the price of the share as you can check is quite stable, agak okay. From the beginning, from the IPOs, from the beginning lagi. IPOs you will learn in the third chapter, okay, initial public offering. So apa yang berlaku adalah Mr. DIY issue dan listed-kan senaraikan dia punya company di Bursa Malaysia. Okay, di Bursa Malaysia. Okay. Dengan cara ni, bila dia issue shares, okay, investor akan beli dia punya share. So investor is actually giving money to this Mr. DIY company. It's not just Mr. DIY, but then you can take a look on another example like 7-Eleven, okay, all those companies like Nestle, okay, TNB dan sebagainya. So investor yang beli share Mr. DIY sebenarnya actually giving some money or fund to this Mr. DIY. So what does the profit that investor will get is actually, okay, so the investor will have some dividend lah in future. If he or she wanna hold the shares, okay, throughout the financial year, dia mungkin akan dapat dividend as dia punya profit lah. Ataupun dia tunggu untuk price appreciation. Contoh bila masa dia beli saham Mr. DIY tu harganya RM2.10 for example. Hari ni, today, dah naik RM3 tu 7 for example. So dia boleh jual share tu dan dia dapatkan profit in terms of perbezaan harga yang ketara lah. Kan masa dia beli, okay, harganya agak rendah RM2.10 dan bila jual hari ni harganya RM3.70. This is a kind of profit yang investor tu akan dapat. In the meanwhile, when they are buying those shares, they are actually giving some money to this Mr. DIY company. Okay. So the same concept actually goes to bonds. Okay. So government also issuing bonds to finance the big and mega project for the citizens, right? Also banks sometimes offer certs of deposit for temporary financing. So certs of deposit almost quite similar to bond, but this one is short term, less than 1 year. Okay. So the hold to maturity is actually less than 1 year. Certificates of deposit. Of course, the buyer of these certs of deposit will have some profit after the certs is actually matured. So they can claim back the certs. Okay, so for the next explanation, I will explain in the other video.